Welcome to today's show. I'm your host, Mike Slinkard. This week is all about trophy mule deer. You know, I hunt big bucks annually in my home state of Eastern Oregon, and I've been fortunate enough to take several good bucks over the years. From spot and stalk to ground blinds over travel routes, we do it all, and HECS technology has played a huge role in our success. Also, this area is the historical proving grounds for HECS, and it's here that we first saw the amazing results that our technology can provide. So stick around, it's going to be a fun show, and as always, no matter what happens, we'll show it all right here on Hunting with HECS.
Hunting is about getting close. Really close. Get closer than you ever thought was possible.
When you have a cameraman and you setting out in a dirt field like this, you can get away with so much with this HECS on.
I've got to give credit once again to HECS.
We showcase the science of getting close right here on Hunting with HECS.
Hunting with HECS is brought to you by PSE Archery. Tough Country, American values forged in steel. Ozonics, undetectable, undeniable. Victory Archery, the carbon arrow experts. BumpersDirect.com. Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, we call the game. Tacticam, share your hunt. Warren Winches. Trophy Properties and Auction. And HECS Stealth Screen, the evolution of concealment.
Here we're hunting along the edge of the field trying to ambush one of the big muley bucks that frequent the area. You know, they travel up in the brush-covered hills during the day, and then they filter back down into the ag land at night. One of my favorite tactics is to slip along the edge of these fields and try to intercept the deer as they enter. Well, that's the case on this hunt. I spotted a good buck and a large group of does enter the field ahead of me. With no cover to plan a successful stalk, I head straight at them, trusting my HECS technology to see if I could get inside a bow range. Well, you can see them looking right at me as I move out. They can obviously see me plainly, but as we've shown over and over, by blocking our electrical signature, the deer are confused, and often it lets us approach much closer than usual. Well, the deer look me over and most simply ignore me and go back to feeding. Slowly, I make up the yardage on this buck, and when I get into comfortable shooting distance, I decide to take a shot. Well, as many of you know, I've been fighting a bad shoulder for a couple of years, and I had rotator cuff surgery earlier in the year. Unfortunately, that surgery was unsuccessful, and my shoulder was again giving me fits. I felt comfortable shooting 1 or 2 arrows, and I reasoned that that would be enough to do the job. But obviously on this day it wasn't quite enough. But still, after all that, the buck simply returns to the does that are still in the fields and carries on like nothing ever happened. He was 80 yards out now, and with light fading fast, I decided to try him another day.
Well, that was close. I don't know. I'm not even sure where the arrow went, but I went under him, I'm guessing. But what a nice buck. We saw him come in this field. I had to walk pretty much straight out to him. But anyway, it's a clean mess. I got this messed up shoulder. I just can't hold as steady as I used to. But anyway, it's still early. We're going to try him again.
I'm a huge believer in HECS, and the reason is simply my success in the field. Time and time again, I have things that I just can't explain, and no matter which hunting camp I'm in, I feel like I'm having more opportunities than the people around me that aren't utilizing HECS. The reality is, some animals definitely can sense things that we just don't know about. And with the encounters that I've had, I can tell you that HECS has been my clear advantage. This past year, I got within top pin range on a giant open country bull and just sat there for longer than I was even comfortable for. And when he finally pulled away from that tree and started to come to where he had heard my call last, He literally almost walked right over me. Had no idea what I was, even when that arrow hit, and I'm giving that credit to HECS. During the late season here in Iowa, there's nothing worse than being covered up with whitetails in a ground blind and having them look right in at you. I don't experience that anymore. I'm telling you, the proof is in the pudding for me. If you're interested in getting the best deal possible, make sure you use the promo code at the bottom of the screen. Or if you want to find out more, go to hexllc.com or give us a call at 541-575-HECS.
Stick around. There's plenty of big buck action coming up right after this. Welcome back to Hunting with HECS. This week we are in Oregon in pursuit of big mule deer bucks. Mike has already had one close call and is still out after them. Now let's get back to the hunt.
Well, you know, I grew up hunting mule deer around my home in Eastern Oregon, and I learned to be successful at locating and taking big trophy bucks with archery gear pretty early on. You know, it was tough back then, but I learned that by carefully planning the stalk, considering the wind currents and the thermal activity, and using good cover, I was able to take some good deer. But I was still busted a lot, even with the most carefully of executed plans. In fact, HECS technology came into being partially because of a conversation that I had with mule deer hunting legend Randy Ulmer, who noted that trophy bucks always seemed to know something was wrong anytime he got inside of 40 yards. I had had many similar experiences, and after years of research, we finally determined that the culprit many times is the electrical fields that are given off by our bodies. Back then, science was just starting to understand this phenomenon, and we were on the cutting edge. Once we developed a scientifically proven fabric that could block our energy fields, we hit the woods to see how well it would work. We pushed the limits from the very beginning, moving way more, taking more chances, and slipping right out into the middle of groups of deer as they traveled through the area. We saw early on that the deer could see us move, but they consistently dismissed our presence more quickly and allowed us to approach much closer than we were ever able to do before HECS. It's like they just weren't sure what they were seeing. On this hunt, we spotted a few deer bedded in the brush in front of us, and we slowly moved in on them. A doe crossed in an opening about 35 yards out, and we spotted a buck trailing her. I moved forward trying to get a shot angle on this deer. Normally, this kind of open movement inside of archery range would send the deer blasting out of the area. But here we were learning just how effective HECS technology can be. I finally had a good angle on the buck, and he simply stood there watching as I moved into a clear shooting range and settled my pen.
Center punch. Center punched him. What an awesome stalk. They're in these junipers. Boy, HECS played a big role in this. I don't know how well you guys could see it, but we spotted these deer bedded in this junipers. Eased up, a doe walked out across here. The doe was about 35 yards. That buck walked out there. He's a nice deer. He was about, I shot him for 40 yards, so I don't think he's going anywhere. That arrow was exactly where I wanted it.
What a dandy buck, you know. First time we've actually seen this buck. We've been seeing some good ones, but this has been a buck that's not using the fields. There's a lot of fields and farm ground, and we see a lot of deer in the farm ground. This buck hasn't been using the fields. We have not seen him at all, but I am tickled pink. This is a dandy, dandy buck.
Brand new from HECS is a completely redesigned camo suit featuring a versatile action cut that is perfect whether worn as an underlayer or over top of other hunting gear. It comes complete with 3 pieces: pant, shirt, and head cover. Now available in new HECS Style Green and HECS Style Western. We started with a revolutionary HECS mesh fabric. It is extremely lightweight and breathable fabric that is soft, silent, and comfortable. Of course, it has the patented HECS technology woven right in. Features include a new, durable, super comfortable 1.5-inch wide elastic waistband, shirt pocket, pants pocket, and convenient thumb holes. Accessories are sold separately and include the HECS technology woven into each one. They include the HECS hat in matching camo patterns. HECS gloves are made of a lightweight material and are also available in camo. The new multi-rag is a versatile face mask that can be worn in a variety of ways. And finally, we have the HECS socks. They are a heavyweight over-the-calf sock, and just like the other accessories, the HECS grid is woven right into the material. Order right now and use the promo code to save $30 on your order of a complete HECS suit. Learn more about our full line of clothing and accessories, as well as our fit guarantee for worry-free ordering at HECSLLC.com. The mule deer action continues right after this. Welcome back to Hunting with HECS. We're hunting mule deer in Oregon this week with host Mike Slinkard. And the HECS technology has helped him get close to several good bucks. Now, let's get back to the action.
After our initial successes stalking in the open and getting away with more than we ever dreamed of, it became one of my favorite activities to stalk the field edges and the brushy areas trying to slip up on unsuspecting deer. On this hunt, my buddy Ted Netter and I were slipping through the sage and juniper patches trying to spot a good buck when we saw this huge old deer trailing a doe through the brush. Several times he caught us in the open and looked right at us, but as we see often, after a few seconds, he dismissed us and went back to pestering the doe. Over the next 45 minutes, I was able to move closer and closer to the pair, finally getting inside archery range, but then there wasn't a shot. As the light faded, I knew I'd have to try to make it happen again on another day. Well, I had other commitments for the next week, but my buddy Ted kept an eye out for the deer. Unfortunately, he never spotted that particular buck again, but he did find one that was even better. My first evening back, I sat in a blind where he'd been seeing that buck. As evening approached, the buck showed up, and I could see he was definitely the one I wanted. I actually thought I might have a chance at him at one point as he trailed up into the corner of the field where I was sitting. But just when it was about to happen, the farmer came rolling in behind us on his tractor, and it spooked the does out of the area, and it took that big buck with him. Early the next morning, I spotted the buck still in the field, so I decided to stalk along the edge and try to get a shot. Well, as you can see, this was a really hot doe, and he was nose to tail with her all over the field. But my luck was about to change as they approached the wheel line well within bow range.
He's got good too. He's solid. He's solid. We got him. He's on a hard run, and I got blood right in the spot. He's not going anyplace. What a buck. I think we just got a big Oregon buck on the ground. Oh my gosh, he's got more junk than I thought. Look at these kickers. What a deer. What a deer. Look at this buck. Guys, this is a buck of a lifetime. You don't get mule deer any better than this. This thing has cheaters on both sides,
Look at this kicker on this side, comes out and comes straight down. So much character, deep forks, just a heavy, heavy buck. You know, we were hunting this buck from the start, and Ted Netter, my buddy that's hunting this with me, had seen him a few times too, and had him in the ground blind last night. Almost got a shot, and I was lowering the snake's belly last night when this buck ran off. But lucky for us, he was still after the ladies, and he had a big old doe out here, a big old hot doe.
The newest addition is our base layer. The base layer is a lightweight, semi-thermal material designed to be worn under your regular hunting clothing when you need just a little bit of extra insulation. It features the patented HECS technology woven right into the material. The suit comes in 3 pieces: pants, shirt, and head cover. The shirt is a quarter-zip Henley with serge stitching, embroidered HECS logo, and thumb holes. The form-fitting pants have serge stitching throughout, and an elastic waistband and cuff ensure they stay in place. They also feature a convenient fly. The head cover has a hemmed eye hole, adjustable drawstring in the back, and is very easy to use. Additional accessories are sold separately and include the HECS hat, gloves, and our new heavyweight over-the-calf sock. Brand new for this year is the new multi-rag. This versatile face mask can be worn in a variety of ways. Order the HECS base layer right now and use the promo code PURSUIT to save an instant $30 on your order of a complete HECS suit. Learn more about our complete line of clothing and accessories, as well as our fit guarantee for worry-free ordering at hexhunting.com.
The big buck action continues right after this. Welcome back to Hunting with HECS. This week has been all about big trophy mule deer, and host Mike Slinkert has been reliving some of his past experiences with these monarchs of the West. Now, let's rejoin the hunt.
Well, as you saw, HECS has helped me take some great bucks over the years, and I still enjoy every minute in the deer woods. And that brings us back to this year again. You know, it's been a tough year for me so far with my shoulder issue. I'd missed several good bucks in Nevada earlier in the year, and I also had another miss fresh on my mind. I decided I needed to get as close as possible to increase the chances with my shaky shoulder, so I set up for a relaxing evening hunt in a ground blind.
Okay, we're here in a really good blind. These deer were basically between 2 fields, and they come back and forth through this all the time. A lot of times they bed in it, feed in it, all kinds of stuff. So it's a great spot. We've got a ton of pictures of a really good buck. Actually several, but one super good buck on the trail camera. So hopefully we're going to get all ready here, and hopefully something will happen. So.
Well, it wasn't long before the blind was completely surrounded by deer. I had an Ozonics running, and I was decked out head to toe in HECS, and it was all working beautifully. Normally, this many sets of eyes, ears, and noses would have been impossible to fool, but as the minutes ticked away, not a single deer gave any indication that they knew that we were anywhere in the area. Finally, with light fading fast, I spotted that big buck approaching along the edge of the field, and he was headed straight to my location. He moved in like the big dog that he was, and the smaller bucks scattered to give him room. He walked right into the middle of the deer without a care in the world, and right into my shooting lane.
He's hit good. He's down. Wow. That is the buck we've been hunting. That is the one. We've got a bunch of pictures of him. Normally he's here in the dark. He almost was tonight too, but just before dark he rolls in, turns broadside 20 yards. Obviously double lung shot, he went down right there.
I know you get tired of hearing it, but this again was another HECS moment. You know, we had real squirrely wind, we were in the blind, we had the ozonics going, thank God, because that just helped us cover our scent. But I'll tell you what, being that close to that many deer for that long, it's about HECS, it really is. You know, this stuff's been out now since 2010. We have thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands really, people that use this stuff and tell us all about it all the time. So again, close range is what it's all about when you're bow hunting. This was under 20 yards, big old mature muley, and about 11 or 12 other ones that were there for a long time. So HECS did the job tonight.
Did you know that electroreception gives many animals, birds, and fish the ability to sense the electrical field given off by other living things? It was first studied in saltwater species like rays, sharks, and lobsters, but has since been observed in mammalian species as well. HECS technology blocks our electrical field and makes us less detectable to animals.
Hunting with HECS is brought to you by PSE Archery. Tough Country, American values forged in steel. Ozonics, undetectable, undeniable. Victory Archery, the carbon arrow experts. BumpersDirect.com. Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls, we call the game. Tacticam, share your hunt. Warren Winches. Trophy Properties and Auction. And HECS Stealth Screen, the evolution of concealment.
I hope you've enjoyed this little trip down memory lane with some of the great muley bucks that I've been fortunate enough to tangle with in the early phases of testing HECS technology. And as you saw, it continues to work just as well today as it did when I wore that first HECS suit in the woods over a decade ago. Over the last 10 years, we've proven over and over that by wearing HECS technology, you can get closer, have more opportunities, and enjoy more punch tags and awesome deer steaks than you ever did before. If more close encounters and increased opportunities sounds good to you, then you need to give HECS technology a try for yourself. Give us a call or go online right now and get your own HECS suit on the way. In the meantime, we'll keep pushing the limits and bringing it to you each week, right here on Hunting with HECS.
If you have an amazing HECS encounter you'd like to share, give us a call or go online. If we use it on the air, you'll be in the running to win an exciting hunting trip with a HECS crew. You can find out more on our website at hexllc.com. While you're online, make sure to take a minute and check us out on our social media sites as well.